Good morning, or depending when you're watching this, good afternoon, good evening, or good night. My name's Ross, and as always told, I had a voice of radio. So today, I'm going to be showing you a new Pyroar card coming out in the Pokemon trading card game in the very near future. In Japan, it's coming out in Sun and Moon 7A Thunderclap Spark. It'll be in our Sun and Moon 8 set, which will be our November set. It's Pyroar, and it is brought to us, a translation at least, by the lovely person, Autobot Tesla, over on Twitter. And we're seeing this kind of a bit more, so I just saw Steelix recently. And Steelix was in Champion Road, which is Sun and Moon 6+, and it's in Sun and Moon 7A. Do we need two Steelix that soon? We've no sooner just had our Pyroar in Forbidden Light, as we're getting Pyroar again in Sun and Moon 7A, although what does make me very happy, you'll notice that the Pyroar from Forbidden Light was a male Pyroar. This time round, we're getting a female Pyroar. That, as far as I'm concerned, is wonderful, wonderful justice. Although while we're here, this is the first female Pyroar card we've had. That kind of sucks. We've had a promo Pyroar, male. We had the really good one in Flashfire, male. We had the really nice one in Phantom Forces, male. And we had the one in Forbidden Light, male. As well as the one in Steam Siege, male. And Pyroar Break, which I suppose had to be male because it had to break evolve from a male Pyroar. I'd never noticed that before, and now that I have, boo. But at least we have a female Pyroar card now, ladies and gentlemen. The question is it actually any good? And the answer is, it actually could be. Now, I do want to have a quick shout out to Litleo before we get into too much detail on Pyroar here. It's a fairly standard 60 HP basic blah blah blah. But the good news is that if your opponent's active Pokemon is an EX or a GX, you got free retreat. Nice to have a free retreating basic. It means that you can just immediately retreat into whatever you want. It means you can put it up after your opponent takes a KO and then retreat into whatever you want, etc. This is really cool. But as for Pyroar then, 130 HP is the magic number. It puts it out of range of a Zoroark KO, at least in Standard, or Golisopod, Silvalite, etc. Love it when a Pokemon has 130 HP rather than 120. The retreat cost of 2 kind of sucks because you don't get free retreat with Escape Board, although it is slightly better given that, we've got the free retreating Litleo. Weakness to water is fine because maybe something like Alolan Ninetales gets quite good. Otherwise, honestly, water's not a great typing at the moment. You don't need to worry too much about it. I mean, Lapras is good right now, but Lapras is getting a one-hit KO anyway, so don't worry your pretty little heads about it, ladies and gentlemen. Just don't worry. Just chill yo boots. And being a fire Pokemon, I mean, you've got stuff like Flint, which allows you to search out for basic fire energy as long as you discard 2 from your hand. We've got the new Moltres, which accelerates energy, which is quite nice. And of course, we've got the Nuts Victini we looked at the other day. I'll pop a link to that video in the description. That Victini is over the top good. Maybe it's just me, but I'm convinced it is over the top good. And of course, fire is great because you're hitting weakness against metal Pokemon like Duskmane Necrozma, as well as grass Pokemon like the aforementioned Golisopod. But after a longer than usual intro because of talking about Pokemon genders, let's have a look at what it actually does. Although remember, as always, there are timestamps in the description, so you can flick straight to the attacks if you wish. And the good attack here, as far as I'm concerned, is the first one. Double colorless energy, 30 damage, discard 1 energy attached to your opponent's active Pokemon. It's really quite nice, and apparently it's called Crunch, but of course it is. The last Pokemon that we had that really looked like it could make this work was the Lycanroc GX, the non-midnight form, or the midday form I suppose I could say, which had the same attack, but it was for 2 energy attachments on a stage 1, and although it saw a bit of play initially, after a while everyone was just like, I'm going to play the midnight form or not bother. This is actually a good card because it does it for just a double colorless energy. Or since it's a non-GX, if you're behind on prizes, you can use counter energy. Or because it's a Pokemon that uses colorless energy, if you're behind on prizes, you can actually use counter gain here, attach it as your tool for the turn, and then you only need to put one basic energy or any energy on there, and you are absolutely good to go. And the 30 damage is nice here. No, it's not great, but if you find yourself against something like a 60 HP Beldum or a 60 HP Rowlet, you'll be taking that bad boy down in a single hit, and it will actually not be looking like a bad boy at all. And if you had a choice band, you're doing 60 damage against EXs and GXs here, which is quite nice. And I suppose you could always even use the promo Lurantis here, because that does increase by 20 the damage done by grass and fire Pokemon. But honestly, no one's found a great use for that yet. I think it might be time to just admit that it might not be a very good card, as sad as it is, and as much as I might have lovely memories of going and buying them in Toys R Us in Seattle. Sad face, ladies and gentlemen. And let's not forget, if you're hitting for weakness, you're now hitting for 120, as long as you're using a choice band. So something like a Decidueye is going down in 2 hits. Something like a Duskmane Necrozma is going down in 2 hits. Metagross annoyingly won't, because it's got 250 HP, but maybe you use Forbidden Shrine here, which puts 1 damage counter on each EX and GX between turns. And now we've got the start of a very annoying deck. You play non-GXs, you use Forbidden Shrine, and you just sit there doing 30 or 60 or 120, depending on choice band and weakness, every turn, while popping damage down with Forbidden Shrine. 130 HP means there's not that much that will get an easy one-hit KO on you, and you're getting rid of all of their energy. And this can be very useful. Find yourself against an Ultra Necrozma, get rid of their metal energy, and they're going to find it very difficult to attack. Against a Buzzwole, they're not doing very much against you until they've got free energy. So if you can just use this to keep getting rid of their energy, you're going to be fine. Even Lapras needs free energy to do much damage to you, or indeed any damage to you. So if you can keep crunching away, you can even beat something like a Lapras. Something like a Rayquaza, okay, they are going to try and get as much energy on as quick as they can, but you can still try and just get rid of the energy. And the great thing here is, this gives you a chance against anything. Okay, decks like Magnezone, that can accelerate as many energy as they like per turn, are probably going to be able to get round it, but even then they've got to get the Magnezone out, so you've got a chance. And what you do is you play this with cards like Crushing Hammer and Enhanced Hammer, and you just go full energy denial. If you're hitting for weakness with choice band, you're doing nice damage. If you're not, you're not. But the great thing here is that essentially you're running them out of energy while doing a bit of damage. We might be moving into too much of a one-hit KO format at the moment for this to really work. And honestly, a tactic like this really needs Garbodor, which we're not going to have because it's rotating out, because you really need to get rid of abilities. But honestly, I think there could be some fun to be had here. I mean, in a pre-release, it is nuts, because they attach 1 energy per turn. You get rid of 1 energy per turn. In a pre-release, this card is going to be almost broken. In Standard, maybe we're in too much of a one-hit KO format, but then again, those Pokemon like Buzzwole and Ultra Necrozma can't do very much if they don't have their energy. As for the second attack, 1 fire, 2 colorless energy, 90 damage. Now, most of the time, with a choice band, we're getting a one-hit KO here. You will on Duskmane Necrozma, Golisopod, Decidueye. You won't on Metagross, because you're still only doing 240. Annoyingly, this card just keeps doing 240 one way or another, which is kind of annoying. So you're not getting a one-hit KO on Metagross, but like I've said, Forbidden Shrine will come in and do that extra 10 damage. And what I like about this, and this is a good attack, purely because you're adding 1 fire energy to the previous cost. Generally speaking, you sit there with a double colorless, discarding. Oh, look, they've got 90 or fewer HP remaining, add a fire and KO. That's what this attack is for. I don't think you'd ever play it just for this attack, although counter gain and counter energy will allow you to do it for essentially 1 attachment. But what you really want to do here is just 30 and discard, 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 90 KO. Obviously, there are going to be some decks that can get around it. Regular Necrozma with Malamar is going to be an incredibly difficult matchup, as will anything with something like Magnezone. But against a Buzzwole, even if they hit a couple of B-String, if you hit a couple of Crushing Hammer plus Crunch, you can basically lock them out of their big attack, and then they're not really KOing you, which is hilarious. Against Ultra Necrozma, you can just face down all of their metal energy, and then they're going to have a hard time actually getting a KO on you. They're going to have the metal energy in hand to attach every time they want to take a KO. And remember that they are only taking one prize per KO. I think with Forbidden Shrine, this is a really, really fun card, and I think it could be very, very good indeed. Would you need to add in the other Pyroar as well? I don't think so. Dominating Fangs does do 140 if you've got Lysander's Lab in play, but honestly, I would rather use Forbidden Shrine. And the good news is that your opponent cannot play an item or supporter and do anything to this particular Pyroar, but I don't know. It strikes me as fairly underwhelming. I think the new Pyroar is a lot better than the old Pyroar. I think there is an energy denial deck to be made here, and maybe it won't be fast enough for these big one-hit KO Pokemon, or maybe it can get rid of enough energy that it can still win. I'm giving this between 3 and 4 Wassies. We don't give half Wassies. That would be barbaric. I think there is potential here. It's certainly one I'm going to test, and in a pre-release, 2 colorless energy, get rid of an energy every turn in a format where people are only really able to attach 1 energy per turn. Yeah, this could be nuts. But I want to know what you think about Pyroar. Are you happy we finally have a female Pyroar? I am. Do you think it's going to be any good? I do. Let me know in the comment section. Go nuts. Be nice. Make sure you like this video, subscribe to this channel, follow me on Twitter at TheWassy, and Twitch for some live action at twitch.tv/PTCGRadio. If you want to support the channel, get some bonus podcasts and all of that, head on over to patreon.com/PTCGRadio, where you can do just that. We have had about an hour-long bonus podcast 3 weeks in a row, so I really think this is the time to start checking out the Patreon if you haven't before. But by far the most important thing, as always, is to look after yourselves until next time. Thank you very much for watching. My name's Ross, and you've been watching PTCG Radio.